Hello, everybody, and welcome inside historic Cameron Indoor Stadium alongside Chris Spazzola and former Duke All-American Gerald Henderson. I am Ryan Craig, getting ready for Utah Valley versus number 1 Duke. The Wolverines, led by third-year head coach Mark Pope, and coming off of a game against number 4 Kentucky, in which Utah Valley kept it close the entire way. In fact, led at halftime by 9. Coach Pope, a graduate of Kentucky, won the national championship in 1996 with the program, and his current program put up a tremendous effort in Lexington and then has to fly overnight, charter into Durham to face that man and his program, Mike Krzyzewski, in year number 38 at Duke, looking for win number 1,000 in Durham. Chris, can't ask for much of a tougher back-to-back than what Utah Valley's going to face this weekend.
Well, fortunately, it's an old group. They return 4 starters here in Cameron tonight. It starts with taking care of the ball. You play against Duke in this building, you cannot give up possessions, and then they're going to have to guard Grayson Allen. He was the key last night. He got off to a quick start, buried Elon quickly. You've got to identify him early.
And for Duke, it'll be about the first 4 minutes. Both teams played last night. Their energy levels may not be the same as they were last night, but Duke needs to jump out on this Utah Valley team and make them call the first time out. Secondly, it'll be consistency is key. Grayson Allen had a big game last night. We know he's capable of a repeat performance. Marvin Bagley had a big game last night. Can he repeat it?
Grayson gets into the lane on that first possession, and Wendell Carter heads to the line. Carter struggled a bit with fouls last night, had 3 in the first half, played limited minutes because of it, and this is an area that Duke struggled overall, one of the few areas that they did not succeed in 24 hours ago was at the free throw line. Blue Devils just 3 of 11 from the charity stripe against the Elon Phoenix.
Well, the bulk of those free throws came from Bagley and Carter. And it's a different animal. You get into regular season games and those guys start getting to that line consistently. Got to step up and make them.
More than half of Duke's 11 free throw attempts coming from those 2 players. Here's Manyang down low working against Carter. Manyang, one of a number of transfers on this Utah Valley team, as Ogby hits the 3.
And they did not shoot that 3 well last night. Only 5 threes against Kentucky. Good start here in Cameron.
Duval lays it off to Carter for the dunk.
Great start for Carter. Got in that foul trouble last night. Got into the basket twice now tonight so far.
Brandon Randolph facing some pressure from the Blue Devils. Finds an outlet. Stop and pop 3 for Toulson is no good. Offensive rebound by Jake Toulson. And Carter sends that one away. A much better beginning to game number 2 for Wendell Carter. Trent the 3 from the wing. And he'll gather in his own rebound. Bagley, that lefty jump hook. And the rebound is tipped out of bounds by Jake Toulson, and so Duke will maintain possession tied at 3.
We talked so much last night about Bagley's motor. There, he keeps this possession alive. Just by getting a finger on the basketball, you buy Duke another possession. He's been so active on second opportunities.
That motor, just one of a number of qualities that made him the consensus number 1 player in the country, despite reclassifying ahead a year. That time an off-balance, one-handed jump shot. No good. Connor Toulson tries to lay it in, and Bagley may have tipped that in his own basket.
I'll tell you what, they play fast, does Utah Valley. And they played fast last night against Kentucky. Their plan tonight is to attack, but you better get back after made buckets because Duke will do the same.
Hey, you blink in this game, you might miss 3 or 4 possessions. Manyang posts up Carter again. And lefty over the shoulder, no good. Might have been off of Carter's foot, and was.
That's the one thing that Utah Valley does have that Elon did not last night is size. They've got Manyang starting. He's 7 feet tall. They're going to bring in Isaac Nielsen off their bench. He's 6'11". So they have a front line that, at least size-wise, physically, looks like Duke's.
5 blocks last night for Manyang against the Wildcats to go along with 6 points and 7 rebounds.
Traveled.
Ogby maintains possession, draws the foul on Duval.
Strong take there by Ogby.
Ogby missed a bunch of time with a broken clavicle and many other injury issues.
He clearly walks there, but as Gerald said, after he gathers himself, it's an aggressive drive to the basket to transfer from Utah, a graduate transfer, which you'll find a lot of these mid-major programs nowadays in college hoops. You've got your recruiting high school kids, but there is such a market for those graduate transfers, and Ogby one of those.
I'll tell you what, both teams coming out with energy, playing last night. You know, you wonder about their energy levels, but they're coming out and playing aggressively.
7-5 for the Wolverines. Just to tie a bow on the point about Ogby, that injury that he came back from was so severe that Wolverines actually burned the tape. Didn't want anybody else to have to witness it again. Broke his clavicle, as I mentioned, was dealing with post-concussion seizures, was out for a long time, has worked his way back to the court as the graduate student from Munich, Germany. Good to see him back out there playing the game that he loves. As the officials discuss things, this Utah Valley program has a lot of players on their second and third chances, and talking to Coach Pope, sometimes their last chances might be their last opportunity to play college basketball. 14 of the 16 players on the roster are transfers into the program from one place or another. That one doesn't fall for Trent. Here's Toulson. Manyang nearly tips it in. Bagley gets it out to Grayson Allen instead. Almost 3 minutes into this one. Wolverines by 2.
Look for Grayson Allen off this curl here.
There he is, dumping it down low to Bagley.
Nice
The
pass.
kick out. Duval, the wing 3. No good. Carter gets 2 hands on the rebound. Power dribble. And that one is off of the freshman and will belong to Utah Valley.
That's good defense there. Carter got the rebound, but he had 3 guys around him. They stuck their hands up, bodied him. Got the block shot there.
So here's Brendan Randolph. One of 5 Wolverines in double-figure points against Kentucky last night. It'll be a jump ball.
One of those plays where you got to be careful of the timeline, because once you bring it across, that's the perfect place to trap. And there Randolph walks himself over the timeline into that double team.
Yep, and then it's a triple team because he stopped right over the line. So now that becomes your third defender.
And Duke really focusing on Randolph. I mean, they want to deny him the basketball when he doesn't have it. Utah Valley uses him in a lot of ball screens.
Ogby looking down low to Isaac Nielsen, who you mentioned, Chris, is coming off the bench. He's already on the floor. Toulson for 3. And there he is to gather his own rebound. Swatted away by Carter. What a difference a day makes for Wendell Carter, who was already on the bench with 2 fouls by this point last night.
Well, he has great timing to block shots. I mean, obviously he's tall and big and long, but he's got great timing, a good feel.
Looks down low to Bagley. Quadruple teamed, but he earns the N1.
How about that pass? Big to big. And Wendell Carter knows he has a big target in Marvin Bagley right over the top. Look at the touch, and then you allow the athlete to go make a play. And how about the presence of mind with that left hand to finish with the reverse?
Yep, as talented as these freshmen are with the ball scoring, they're very willing passers. That's some of the best Duke teams have been unselfish teams, so that's a great pass there by Carter.
Bagley finishes off the three-point play. Bagley was just 1 for 4 from the free throw line last night, so that's a good sign for he and Blue Devils fans everywhere.
Here's that 1-2-2 3-quarter court by Duke.
Randolph breaks it and kicks it out for a 3. Toulson drills that one from the corner.
Toulson's their leading returning scorer. Connor Toulson spent the offseason, had a broken foot.
And misses, rebounded by Nielsen. Nielsen led the team in rebounds and blocks a year ago. And that's going to be a foul. As we reach the under-16 timeout here in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Utah Valley a night ago giving Kentucky everything that it wanted. Right now a 2-point lead on the number 1 team in the country. Back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium alongside Chris Spatola and Gerald Henderson. I'm Ryan Craig. 10-8 for the Wolverines in the early going. And, fellas, we were talking a little bit about whether or not these teams would be able to carry over that activity level they showed a night ago into tonight. So far, both shooting under 30% from the field, but the pace has been incredibly high. Gerald, you've played a lot of these back-to-backs, even at the pro level. What's it like out there for these teams right now?
Well, these guys aren't used to it. Playing in the NBA, it's all about recovery. So, Utah Valley got on a plane last night, so that's one advantage that Duke has. You can't really measure jet lag, so they've come out with energy. Can they sustain it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important to see maybe this next 4 minutes. I know, Gerald, you talked about that first four. Maybe it's a situation where you can live on adrenaline just a little bit. But Utah Valley certainly looks like they brought plenty of game to Durham, North Carolina. There's Coach Pope. He has assembled an excellent program in his first couple of years on the bench. Spent some time at BYU, Wake Forest before that, so he knows the ACC as well.
I will say this, you don't want to make too much about the back-to-back. These guys would rather be playing a game tonight than practicing. I can tell you that.
That's true.
As Grayson carries it across the timeline.
And they're used to playing a lot of games over the course of a weekend, so it's...
Carter spins toward the baseline, looked for an outlet, didn't find one. Instead, it's a 2-on-1 the other way. Good verticality from Grayson Allen and an even better finish from Jake Toulson. The transfer from BYU.
He is super aggressive. A guy who really worked on his body over the offseason, got in better shape. Of course, he's the nephew of Danny Ainge.
Delorier, corner three. That one's off the mark. Rebounded by Nielsen. Coach Pope has talked about how he wants his team making 4 passes before the shot clock hits 22. That's the type of aggressive tempo they want to play with. Wolverines by 4. Here is Toulson. Trying to find that corner three again. Carter, though, gets a hand in the way. The outlet from Grayson to Bagley, who somehow kept his toe off the baseline. Now it's Trent with a three from the wing.
Gary Trent ready to shoot. Had a big game last night. 4-3, excuse me. Really getting his feet set. Great pass by Marvin Bagley.
Delorier with the foul. Those 4 threes for Gary Trent Jr., second most in a freshman debut in program history, tying one of your good buddies, John Shire, with 4. Taylor King has the record with 5. As a number of Duke freshmen set quite a few program records or tied them or approached them in the victory over Elon a night ago. Marquise Bolden checks in for Duke. A question as to whether he would be available tonight after sitting out the Elon game with strep throat, but he's in there.
He was really in the pits these last few days, seeing him at team meals. Very low on energy, got him on some antibiotics, and I guess he's feeling a lot better tonight.
Then Nakwaza squares up Bagley and tries a three. That one's no good, and Trent gathers in the rebound. Both teams have looked to push the pace on a defensive rebound. Grayson Allen steps back for a three. Grayson had 19 in the first half last night. Thus far has been kept off the scoreboard. And Toulson's going to be fouled shooting a 3-point shot.
I mean, that is the pace at which Utah Valley wants to play. It's the pace that Mark Pope brought here. You see the kick ahead and the quick three. And if you go back to when Dick Hunsaker was the coach here 3 years ago, they were over 300 in adjusted tempo. You go to Ken Pomeroy's stats, Utah Valley was over 300. Since Mark Pope has gotten here, they have jumped over 300 spots into one of the faster tempos in the country.
Just a complete overhaul in approach.
And, you look at last night, they wanted to run with Kentucky, and they're going to do the same here. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're playing in Rupp Arena, Cameron Indoor against number 1 or number 5. They're going to do what they do. And that's the confidence that Mark Pope has brought to this program. And when you have a program of 11 scholarship juniors or seniors, those guys buy in quickly.
Toulson, good from the free throw line, good on all 3. Utah Valley a 4-point lead.
Grayson Allen at point. See him handle a lot. He's very capable.
Skips that one across. Marvin Bagley the third, 25 and 10 in his debut. Banks that one in.
And when he can get to that left, he is so good. How about the adjustment of the body through the traffic?
Loose ball. Foul is called. We're going to call Gary Trent Jr. for the foul, and that's got Coach K out of his seat.
I don't know about that.
So we'll get another look here.
He did catch him.
Yeah, he calls this on Trent. Yeah, that's not a good call. That's not a good call. And the official's vision may have been blocked by the play itself.
5 team fouls on the Blue Devils in less than 7 minutes. Here's Manyang going to work against Marquise Bolden. Goes over the right shoulder and then tips in his own rebound.
He's had a couple of those, just following up his own shot. And how about the length and the wingspan? Drink on Manyang to follow up.
Here is Trent. Squares up Nielsen. And Manyang the rebound.
Duke not taking the same threes that they had last night. They were moving the ball, getting their threes off of penetration. This is a lot of one-on-one to shoot their threes now.
Ogby. Grayson Allen guards him. The switch with Bagley now. Ogby looks to take the freshman elbow jump shot. Just grazes the front rim. Rebound available. Delorier and Manyang go after it. It'll belong to the Blue Devils. A couple of jump balls we've seen already.
Well, look, Utah Valley's not intimidated, if anybody thought that they might be. I mean, you look down this roster, Manyang played at Oklahoma. Toulson played at BYU. Ogby played at Utah. I mean, these guys have been, Brandon Randolph came from Xavier. These guys have been at some major programs. They've gathered here at Utah Valley. They've got a head coach who won a national championship as a player at Kentucky. I mean, they believe they belong. And that's apparent here in the first 10 minutes of this half.
O'Connell. Carter there to clean up the mess. Wendell Carter with 5 points to go along with 4 rebounds in the early going. Grayson Allen is called for the foul.
And this was also a Utah Valley team that was up 9 at the half last night in Rupp Arena. So
2 early fouls on Grayson Allen. That'll be a storyline to follow. In the meantime, the Wolverines ahead by 2, taking on number 1 in Cameron. Back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium, it was a night ago that Utah Valley was in Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, giving the Wildcats everything that they had imagined that they would get. Utah Valley able to close within as close as 6 with 15 seconds to go, up 9 at halftime. Kentucky ultimately used an 18-0 run to pull away and then held off the Wolverines, but clearly, you mentioned it on the previous side of the break, Chris, this is a team that's just not going to be scared to play against Coach K and Duke and the aura and the program. Gerald, you know, sometimes teams have lost the game before they've even gotten on the court. It's just not going to be the case tonight.
Yeah, well, this team's mature. They played in Kentucky last night. They come to Cameron Indoor, same kind of atmosphere. And they've played in big games, and these guys played hard last night. They're doing the same tonight.
Manyang posting up Carter once again. Goes to work, spins over that shoulder. Bagley gets the rebound. Jordan Goldwire's in. Bagley gets positioned down low, finishes on the second try. Jonas Tavanainen in for Utah Valley. Jake Toulson against Carter. Shows
Nice
a little bit of that Akeem Olajuwon Dream shake.
Well, we saw last possession with Bagley with Manyang on him. We wondered last night, with Elon not having a lot of size, could he do it against a team with size? Does it there on that post up.
O'Connell intercepts the inbound pass. Got Trent to his left. Gary Trent Jr. nearly caught Ben Nakwaza, and instead he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, that was one of our keys for Utah Valley, taking care of the ball. That was their one issue last night, is they gave up 20 turnovers to Kentucky that led to 23 points off of those turnovers. And here in Cameron Indoor, if Utah Valley's done a nice job defending in the half court. You allow runouts like that, you send Gary Trent to the line for a chance of two. You got to take care of the basketball, especially on the road here.
And Coach K wants Gary to attack the basket. In a meeting last night, Gary had a big three-point game last night, but wants him to continue to attack the basket as defenders come at him, run at him. There's gaps for him to drive.
Trent hits the second. It's the largest lead of the night for Duke. There's 2 points at 19-17. Toulson is watched by Goldwire. 10.5 to go in the first half. Tries that move once again. This time Carter defends it well. Nakwaza turns it over again. Trent finishes with two hands.
Those live ball turnovers are killer.
There's another one. Back come the Blue Devils. O'Connell, corner three, Bagley. That one is good. Timeout, Utah Valley with 10:01 to go. And just that quickly, the turnovers, defense to offense, and the Blue Devils lead by 7.
Oh, a classic Duke sequence there. Getting offense from their defense, get 2 turnovers. O'Connell making the quick pass to Bagley in the corner, and he knocks it down for 3.
Duke so often known for these type of spurts in this building. Gets the crowd alive. A quick timeout for Mark Pope to try to settle his team down. Out of nowhere, a deficit of several points becomes a 7-point lead. This is where some of that experience needs to come into play for the Wolverines as they gather on their own foul line. Marvin Bagley III hitting that 3, 10 points already for him to go along with 4 rebounds.
Utah Valley, they want to play fast, and you do what you do, but you can't do it at the expense of turning the basketball over. Those live ball turnovers in this building are killer. And with the way that Duke can finish, and not only that, but the way that they can spot up and shoot threes, this thing can turn quickly.
That's got to be one of the hardest things for a coach, too, is sort of dance with who brung you, right? So you got to keep playing that tempo. But when the momentum starts to turn against you, it becomes that much more difficult to fend off a run, especially for a team like Duke. And that's the mission right now for the Wolverines, to try to get things back on track. Saw the numbers on Bagley a moment ago, setting the scoring record for a freshman in his debut. Also had only the second double-double for a freshman in his first game. Jay Williams, 13 and 9 in 1999. O'Connell with the rebound.
Coming out of a timeout.
Goldwire fires that one into the arms of Nakwaza, returning the favor. Ben Nakwaza has had a couple of questionable decisions as that one banks in from Nielsen for a 3.
That was a chaotic possession. Sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky.
Goldwire off the kick out from Trent. Rebounded by Manyang. And this time Randolph will walk it up the court. Bagley intercepts that pass. Marvin Bagley with the left hand.
Well, we wondered if he could repeat it. Playing better. He's got 12 points here in the first 11 minutes.
It's a foul on Carter. Bagley 12 points on 5 of 8 shooting.
This is the 12th point off of Utah Valley turnovers. None more emphatic than that one by Bagley. But as we said, that was the issue last night. 20 turnovers led to 23 points off of those turnovers for Kentucky. And Duke is almost halfway there. Over halfway there.
Manyang was 0 for 3 from the free throw line against Kentucky last night. He'll step to the charity stripe. Trayvon Duval back on the floor to run the offense for the Blue Devils. Grayson Allen still without a point. 0 for 2 from the field. Carter thought about a three and then took one. He's capable, quite obviously, of hitting that shot.
And then walking back, looking at Manyang, hey, you better close out, man. I could do that too.
Both of Duke's bigs, Bagley and Carter, showing three-point range as well. And that's going to be a foul on Toulson on the push-off. Fourth team foul for the Wolverines. Blue Devils by 9. Both teams shooting far better as of late than when they started the game. Utah Valley shooting 50% now from the field. Carter and Manyang. Wow. Carter spinning over that left shoulder and floats it in.
Well, they're playing him one-on-one, and Carter shows you the pro ability on the block. What a feel for such a young player.
22 and 9 between he and Bagley thus far. Ogby toward the rim and sent away by Wendell Carter.
Duke was showing a 2-3 zone there. Went to the zone, little shift in the defense. And when you got rim protection like that up the middle, any defense will work. Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Wendell Carter Jr. has gone on a little bit of a personal run here over the last few minutes. There's the high-level move on the block, and then out of the 2-3 zone, protecting Duke's basket there. He's got size, he's got great timing, got into foul trouble last night, as we've mentioned, but boys, 10 points here in this first half has made his presence felt.
Only 16 minutes in the season opener against Elon. Figures to play many more than that tonight, and going forward is Ogby with a nice finish. That ends a 7-0 run for the Blue Devils. Duke had been on an 18-3 run over the last 4 minutes or so. Allen looking for Carter. Another spin move. Draws the foul on Manyang, and he'll go to the line.
He's putting Manyang in the spin cycle here these last few possessions. He's got a great feel for when his back's to the basket, feeling the defender spinning off. All Manyang can do is foul. He'll go to the line again.
Chris, you made the point during the break. Manyang is not a guy without size. This is a 7-footer, 250 pounds. Carter, the freshman, is having to use the body against.
Well, and it's not just his size. I mean, he's 24 years old. I mean, he's been around. He's played in Oklahoma. He's played in the Big 12. He's no punk. And Wendell Carter, as G mentioned, just got a great feel, such intuitive feel for the position that you just don't find in big guys of his age.
It's the second foul on Manyang.
Because they never see it in high school. You're going up against kids that are nowhere your size. You know, I learned that from the guard position as well.
Well, we always talk about the toughest transition, at least I have seen, from high school to college, is those big guys.
The throwdown from Duval in transition. Another turnover turned into points by the Blue Devils. 16 points off turnovers now for Duke. Toulson answers with a three on the other end.
He's got a pure stroke.
He does. Those guys, and a green light, which is a dangerous combination, and Duke's in a zone, and he knows it.
Duke is in his zone, offensively and defensively now.
Trent Jr. says right back at you.
Blue Devils by 13. Connor Toulson up to 9 points with a couple of threes. He'll try for a third here. Bagley levitates for the rebound. Carter with the post up. Finds Bagley streaking down the lane. The offensive rebound and the putback for the freshman.
He is so good at that. I mean, it's his 6th rebound of the game, and about 4 of them have just come off of tips after his own shot.
6 of 10 from the field for Bagley. Blue Devils have pushed the lead to 15. Another turnover. Duval nearly gives it back. Blue Devils regain possession.
That 2-3 zone was the downfall of Utah Valley last night. John Calipari going to the zone in the second half. Duke showing it here in the first half, and it has created some chaotic possessions for Utah Valley.
Wolverines have it back now. It's Jake Toulson. And Connor in the corner. Duval on the switch. Randolph hasn't scored yet. Kicks it out. Ogby, wing 3. And Grayson Allen the rebound. Duke looking to push tempo.
Oh.
Duval baseline jump shot. That one's off the mark. Bagley 1 rebound. Couldn't put it away.
That's one of the toughest shots in basketball. That wide open, like 8-footer that you never take in practice.
You're a little too close. You're not far away enough.
And you're on an island. I mean, he's standing there by himself.
Under 4.5 to go in the first half. Nice finish inside from Toulson over Carter.
A little too far away for that floater that you love.
You love the floater, Chris.
Gerald's been selling the floater on air for the last 4 broadcasts. Never used one in his life here at Duke, and now he's campaigning for the floater.
It's an NBA shot, man. It's an NBA shot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you're going to drop the NBA card on us. And the Wolverines have dropped a couple of buckets in a row here to close the deficit to 11. They're not going anywhere. That one finished by Ogby. Duke hasn't scored in over 2 minutes.
Ooh. Mismatch here.
There's another floater. That one's off the mark. Bagley couldn't finish inside on the rebound again. Ogby ahead of the Blue Devils. The righty finish. Timeout Duke. As Ogby is slow to get up, we certainly hope that he's okay. With 3:29 left, the Wolverines have closed to within 9 here at Cameron Indoor. Creating some points off of turnovers of their own. Kick off your Week 10 NFL Sunday with the Countdown Crew at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. They'll have all the early breaking stories, injury updates, and preview each game right up to kickoff. Also streaming live, of course, on the ESPN app. Bring you back into Cameron Indoor Stadium where the Duke Blue Devils lead the Utah Valley Wolverines 40-31. It was turnovers that Duke turned into points to balloon the lead. But Utah Valley has fought back. Duke has missed its last 5 shots. Trayvon Duval initiates the first possession out of a timeout. Immediately Duke goes down low, and Bagley draws the foul. It'll be on Connor Toulson.
We talked about it in the break. You know, Duke has missed some opportunities to go to Bagley and Wendell Carter. Coach K in the timeout draws up the play, goes right to Bagley. He gets fouled.
And that's one of the best ways to gather yourself, is put one of those guys on the block, feed them the ball, allow them to create.
They go straight to Bagley one more time, another foul. This one on Nielsen, so 2 possessions, 2 fouls.
You think Coach K, to your point, Gerald, you think he emphasized that in the timeout?
Yep.
You know, you're closing in on the end of the half here, and 2 straight post touches for these guys, and it create stuff either for themselves or for other guys.
I think the biggest thing is these Duke bigs have size, but they also have quickness. I don't think any of the the front court guys on Utah Valley can stay in front of them.
Yeah. Well, and they've gone big. This is playing Manyang and Nielsen together. They don't start the game that way, but with those two guys in the game, again, Manyang 7 feet tall and Nielsen 6'11", so that's a pretty good front line.
One of the few times that Duke likely to be outsized this evening, as Duke is in a relatively small lineup for them with Delorier at the 4. Bagley misses both free throws. Manyang the rebound. Still a 9-point deficit for the Wolverines. Closing in on 3 minutes to go in the first half.
And Duke sticking with that 2-3 zone.
Nielsen at the elbow. Finds Randolph in the corner. Another turnover. Duval ahead to Grayson with the flush.
That's 18 points off of turnovers. 9 turnovers for Utah Valley, and it changed the tone of this game. Those live ball turnovers.
First points of the night for Grayson Allen come on the dunk. Duval the rebound. Grayson steps into a 3. That one's good. And the senior has lit the match here in game number 2. The lead back up to 14. Randolph begging for a screen from Nielsen. Ogby in the corner, guarded by Delorier. Manyang finds Randolph in the paint. That one floats toward the rim. Manyang the rebound against a couple of defenders. Finishes with the left hand.
Nice move there by the big fella. Gets the rebound, spin move, left hook.
Utah Valley actually out-rebounded Kentucky last night, and they're plus 4 on the glass here tonight. And Manyang's had opportunities. He's collected some of those offensive boards, just hasn't finished a lot of them tonight.
10 rebounds on the night already for Manyang.
Big fella a little frustrated. He's got to come out the game.
He's got those 2 fouls. He'll sit. Utah Valley looking to cut into this lead, which is currently a dozen. Toulson, the kick out Ogby. 3-pointer, no good. Bagley the rebound.
This zone has really stood them up. I mean, they were playing downhill, aggressive against Duke's man. And this zone has really stood them up.
Duval gets it to his right hand, and he'll have a chance at a traditional 3-point play.
There's so many tough shot makers on this Duke team. We've seen them inside, and then there's Duval where you can't draw that up. Gerald has said you can't coach that. That's just a guy who's a supreme talent, creating and making plays, improvising.
He's going to be able to take all those shots, those floaters, all the finishes around the rim. He's not a great shooter, so you find ways to get in there and still get your points.
Up to 5 points now this evening. Thus far in the season, 13 assists to just 1 turnover, taking care of the ball as well. Quazza. Ogby. Now O'Connell guarding Tavanainen. Ogby the spin move in the paint. Carter sends that one to the baseline. 42 seconds on the clock, 7 on the shot clock for the Wolverines. Couple of blocks tonight for Wendell Carter.
Protecting the rim very well tonight.
Errant pass there. Tavanainen has to go retrieve it. Toulson, 1-footed 3 at the shot clock buzzer, but an offensive rebound for Utah Valley gives him another opportunity. Nielsen backing down Bagley, but he took too many steps.
Well, Bagley staying big there and not playing without fouling.
These Utah Valley bigs, yeah, they're more finishers off of dump-offs. Not great in the post, don't have a lot of moves. Get the turnover there.
Shot and game clock almost identical. Duke with a chance for, in essence, the last shot of the first half. Allen is guarded by Ogby. Seven to go on the shot clock. Grayson floats that one toward the basket, looking for Carter, who nearly finished it. A whistle blows. There was 0.5 seconds on the clock. Don't know if it was a foul, as the officials will sort it out right now. There's half a second remaining on the game clock. I don't know if it was an inadvertent whistle or what. Take another look here.
Looks like a pass here to Carter.
Yes, I mean, something, the clock stops when there's a whistle, obviously, from the officials wear those belts on their sides. There may have been an inadvertent whistle or something that stopped that clock.
I didn't see anybody's arm raised for a foul call, so they'll sort it out. As it stands, 0.5 on the clock. Looked like there could have been maybe 1.5, 1.4, somewhere in there. We're getting confirmation now that it is an inadvertent whistle. So they first got to get the timing correct, then they'll go to the jump ball, the possession arrow, I believe, and they will. But if it's Duke ball, probably a bit of a break for the Blue Devils here, a chance to put something together with half a second or more to go.
Well, Coach K called in his players. I'm sure with 0.5 seconds left, he'll be looking to do a lob play right in front of the rim with Bagley's athleticism.
You remember that lob we used to run for you?
Oh, yeah.
Where you spread them out, and you come sprinting down the middle.
Yep. You have one guy going to the left, one going to the right. I come right down the middle.
Is that the famous Maryland play?
No, that was a different one.
All right.
That was a different one.
Losing track. The foot stomp heard around the world.
Yep, those were the good old days, man.
We ran a few for Gerald lob plays where in midair he was profiling with one arm behind his head and the other one out to catch the ball. He was...
Well, you know, when you're up there so long, you can figure it out when you get up there.
Yeah,
you know?
Tell me about that.
Had a cup of coffee. All right, half a second. It's actually going to be Utah Valley ball. Possession arrow in their favor. Are they able to put something together here a full 94 feet away? Ogby, one dribble. That's one too many with half a second. And so we'll head to halftime. Duke 48, Utah Valley 33. Another tremendous effort. Marvin Bagley III, 14 and 8. Wendell Carter Jr., 12 and 6 thus far.
And he's played great. Tough night the night before, but he's come out with a lot of energy on both ends of the floor.
Gary Trent Jr., another couple of threes for him. He's got a dozen points to go along with a pair of rebounds. His team leads by 15. Have plenty more from game 2 of the season for both of these teams when we return on ACC Network Extra. Back at halftime in Cameron Indoor Stadium where Duke leads Utah Valley by 15, 48-33. One of the major storylines of this game is the experience versus the youth. Utah Valley with a ton of guys that have been around the block, including Akolda Manyang. And then on the other side, you've got the Duke Blue Devils, a ton of freshmen, one of the youngest teams in America. Two totally different approaches, two totally different situations in terms of personnel. And it's going to be interesting to see how both of these years play out for these teams as the Wolverines try to make some noise in the WAC and Duke looking to contend for national title number 6.
Think about the contrast in who Utah Valley has played the last 2 nights. Kentucky's one of the youngest, if not the youngest team in the country, and Duke is certainly right there as well. And in Utah Valley, one of the oldest teams in the country. And Coach K has told us often that, you know, age and experience can be an equalizer. Now we'll see if it can account for a 15-point deficit here tonight, but certainly in the WAC, that type of experience is huge. I mean, it's absolutely a talent equalizer.
Marvin Bagley, the third last night. We already mentioned all the records that he set or broke or approached in his collegiate debut. Back at it again this evening, 14 points and 8 rebounds thus far. Played every minute of the first half. He's just been impressive in every which way.
Yeah, well, I talked about in the beginning of the game, his consistency. Can he come out and repeat his performance from the night before? And he's played better. He's come out and had a great first half, has had even more energy, and it's great to see so far here in the season.
Tied the program record for rebounds in a debut with 10, set the record for points and field goals. Jahlil Okafor had the previous record for field goals made with 9. And there you see some of the preseason accolades for not only he, but the one guy for Duke that has a ton of experience in Grayson Allen, and a guy that we've done now, 5 games together, the three of us, countdown to craziness, a couple of exhibitions last night, tonight. A lot of attention is paid to the freshmen, including Bagley, Trent, Carter. But Grayson Allen's going to have to be perhaps Duke's best player if they're going to go far in the tournament, and he's already garnering a lot of attention in the preseason.
He's on a mission. I mean, he's on a mission. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He was the preseason player of the year 2 years ago. He had some injury stuff last year. Obviously, the tripping stuff was a part of the narrative, but he's on a mission. He's had a healthy summer. He's worked at his game, and that has certainly shown at the start here in about a game and a half.
Yeah, and with all these accolades, he just needs to make them happen. I spoke to Grayson Allen this summer, coming back to Duke and working out, and tell him, look, man, you should be player of the year. You got all these young guys coming in, probably won't be here next year, but you should be the best player. You've had the most experience, and you know what it takes to play well at the end of the season and get to that point. So, look for Grayson Allen to, get all of these accolades at the end of the season.
Well, thus far tonight, 5 points and a rebound for Grayson Allen. Plenty more to break down from the first 20 minutes in Cameron on the other side of the break. Welcome back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium alongside Chris Spatola and Gerald Henderson. I'm Ryan Craig. At halftime, the Blue Devils with a fairly healthy margin. And Chris, at the beginning of the game, when you talked about your keys for Utah Valley, take care of the ball. Duke has created some damage off turnovers. Yeah,
well, fortunately, you get a commission when one of your keys to the game is actually a key to the game. So that's a good thing for me tonight. Lucrative evening. Because this broadcast certainly is not going to be. No, look, you come into this building, you start turning it over, that's a problem. Possessions become so valuable. And look, 18 points off of those Utah Valley turnovers for Duke. They've made them pay on the other end. And then when you struggle against that zone, you can't manufacture your own offense. You end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Well, speaking of keys to the game, you wanted to see some consistency out of both Grayson Allen and Marvin Bagley after huge nights last night against the Phoenix. At least one of those two has delivered. Marvin Bagley, the third, has been outstanding once again.
Yeah, well, he had 14 and 8 in the first half. He's played even better than he did last night. Grayson Allen, only 5 points in the first half, but look for him to be more aggressive. He took more threes off the bounce, a little different from last night where he had more open threes. Look for him to be aggressive and get his points maybe up to 20 tonight.
Taking a look at the stats from the first 20 minutes between these two teams, not only has Duke dominated points off turnovers, it's been an interesting battle on the glass, to be quite honest, perhaps a bit surprising in that the Wolverines actually lead in that category despite all the size that the Blue Devils had. Neither team has shot it particularly well from 3. 4 of 12 for Utah Valley, 5 of 13 from the Blue Devils. Perhaps some heavy legs with a second game in 2 nights, although, Chris, I know you talked a little bit earlier about perhaps that's a bit overplayed, especially at this juncture in the season.
Yeah, I mean, the travel's tough. There's no question about it. You assume they got in at midnight, a little bit later than that, perhaps. But I could speak as a player. You'd much rather be playing in a game. And if you're Utah Valley, you're here in Cameron Indoor. You've got Gerald Henderson broadcasting your game. I mean, that's a
worth
lifetime,
the trip.
That's a lifetime memory in and of itself.
That's worth chartering the flight just for that.
Yeah.
On the other side of the break, we'll get back to the second 20 minutes. Can Utah Valley close in and decrease this 15-point deficit? We'll see. You're watching ACC basketball on ACC Network Extra. Welcome back into Cameron Indoor Stadium alongside Chris Spatola and former Duke All-American Gerald Henderson. I'm Ryan Craig, getting ready for the second half of Duke versus Utah Valley. The Blue Devils leading by 15 as they look to go 2-0 in the young 2017-18 season. Number 1 in both the AP and the coaches' polls. Duke trying to announce its presence with authority in the early going. 4 assists on 12 made baskets for the Wolverines to 10 turnovers. That's been part of the story. Blue Devils 11 assists, just the 4 turnovers. And Trayvon Duval and Marvin Bagley combined to start the first possession of the second half.
And Carter on a duck in there.
Bagley lost his footing on the low block. So that'll be a turnover for the Blue Devils to open the second half. Relatively quiet first half for Brandon Randolph. Didn't score. 3 assists, 3 turnovers. There's Manyang facing a double team, and then Randolph with his first bucket of the night.
If you're Bagley there, you don't want to double the post. It's over help. Manyang not a real threat in the post. Makes the easy pass.
And he was too far out, too. I mean, maybe on the low block once he gets 2 feet in the paint, but out there, not necessary. It's interesting. Duke has stayed in this 2-3 zone. And it's a team that Coach K has said he thinks could be a very good zone team with its length and size on the interior.
3 that time from Jake Toolson is off the mark. Trent the other way. Carter draws the double team. Dishes it to Bagley. Finishes with the left hand. Those two combined so often. The 2 freshman bigs.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, it's like they've been playing together for 3 years. I mean, it's the advanced level of their pairing is crazy for 2 freshmen in their second game. We're a game and a half into this thing.
Bagley down low. The double team is late, and it's too easy for Bagley in the low block.
Bagley gets to his left hand. I mean, how much? I don't know if I've ever seen a Duke team look to get to the post so much. Every possession, a big guy's got someone on his back, and they get it in there.
Well, it's been a bucket tonight, too. I mean, those guys combined have 12 field goals.
Bagley nearly picks that one. Instead, a corner 3 from Toolson is off the mark. It'll be a foul on the rebound. Looks like it'll be Trent called for his second.
And here's the thing for Utah Valley. Like, they're getting open 3 looks. They're not making them. And so you're not going to pull anybody out of a zone if you're going to keep taking and missing these 3s. I mean, it's been a struggle against the 2-3 zone the last 2 nights for Utah Valley.
4 for 15 from distance for the Wolverines. A turnover. Grayson looking for Duval, who lays it in. A wry smile from the freshman.
You watch Duval. He's got these big hands. Gathered that pass nicely for the finish.
Manyang over his shoulder with the finish.
We've talked so much about opposing teams getting back. Duke in these 2 games has been devastating in transition.
Bagley, the scoop shot with the left hand.
Didn't like the post up. Brought him out a little bit, got to his left hand. That was a pro finish right there. Great touch.
He is special.
Yeah,
he really is.
Second night in a row, 20-plus for Marvin Bagley III.
And this dude reclassified, folks. He could be playing against your sons in high school this year.
Grayson Allen, the finish. Mark Pope calls timeout as Duke explodes in the second half and leads by 21.
Grayson Allen, only 5 points in the first half, gets out in transition for the emphatic finish.
We talked about the scoring record that Marvin Bagley III had last night, most points for a freshman in his collegiate debut. He's back at it again this evening, 20 points on 9 of 15 shooting, 8 rebounds as well. Chris, you were trying to make a point about the fact that he's reclassified. It's so hard to do with the end action that we've had so far, but it's pretty incredible what he's done on an accelerated timetable.
He should be playing against your sons in high school this year. That's how freakishly good he is. And look, he walks like a pro, he plays like a pro, he is a pro, but we have been given a gift in college basketball this year because he is all of what he has been hyped to be.
Trent with the corner three, that's no good. Wolverines looking for back-to-back buckets out of the timeout. Toolson fires from the corner. It's off the mark. Rebounded by Duval. The quick hit ahead to Trent, who gets in the lane. Gathers his footwork and finishes with the right hand while drawing the foul.
Great aggressive drive there by Trent. The pass ahead. He gets it. Ooh, a little Euro.
Yeah, he's shifty, man.
Right to the basket. Strong finish.
They have been devastating in transition. And it was one of our keys for Elon last night. You could have put it on the board again tonight. And in the first half, it was the live ball turnovers that created the transition. But they have so many finishers. We've seen Duval with a lob. We saw Grayson with the dunk. We've seen Bagley. You see Trent there. I mean, all 5 of those guys in the open floor are so good with the basketball and terrific at the rim.
We've talked about this Duke team, too, and it makes it a little different than last year. Not only the post play and how much they look inside, but having that, quote, true point guard. And Trayvon Duval is back up to 8 assists tonight, just the 1 turnover, 8 and 0 last night. He's off to a fabulous start in terms of facilitation this year as well.
Yep. You know, all Duke teams have had that 1 point guard who can be, you know, the coach on the floor as they get another turnover.
Grayson tosses it up to Bagley, the two-handed finish. Just throwing it in the general vicinity and letting the big man clean it up. As Randolph finishes on the other end.
Duke's got to check those cutters as they come down the lane. Those passes are way too easy for Menyang.
Skip pass. Trent leans into a 3. Rebound by Manyang. Toolson on the dribble handoff. See Randolph gesturing for his team to get into a set. Tough pass from Nielsen. Good cut there by Randolph. That's what you're talking about, Gerald, and then draws the foul.
Yep, there goes another one. You know, when you get in the zone, it's so they can shoot threes. You know, so when they cut down the lane like that, you know, it's depleting the purpose of the zone. You want them to pass it out. Great finish there by Randolph. He's going to have to get a few more of those for them to get back in the game. Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. You see Grayson Allen throwing the lob here. Take your pick. Wendell Carter, Marvin Bagley kind of catches it on the shoulder, throws it through. You're going to see a lot of plays like that this year. Some stuff you may see in the NBA games.
That's one of those you're throwing it to the airspace.
Right.
And hoping somebody picks it off. Look, teams are as fast, I think, as their big guys are. When your big guys are committed to running, as Bagley and Carter are, that's the key to Duke's transition. Those guys are great finishers, and like we said, Grayson Allen just kind of throws it into the airspace, and it gets picked up.
And then you'll see, too, if they don't have a basket immediately, if those guys run and get to the front of the rim, they're going to be fighting each other for position. And there's not going to be many guys that can guard those two in college basketball.
4th foul of the night for Connor Toolson. He is tied for the team lead in scoring for Utah Valley with 11. Trent, all kinds of time. Corner 3, that one is good. Too much time for the freshman. Too good a shooter.
You talk about consistency. He's played well again tonight. 17 points. 17 last night as well.
Got 7 threes in his first 2 games in Cameron Indoor Stadium. At least the first 2 of the regular season. Grayson Allen, quick 3 off the heel. Randolph with speed the other way. Toolson to Toolson, wing 3, no good. Rebounded by Bagley. Duval, the bounce pass to Grayson Allen. The scoop and the finish.
Whoa. That's another one. Get up there and figure it out as well.
Another fantastic pass from Duval to spring one of his teammates in transition. 9 assists on the night for him. Ogby the 3. Carter and Manyang fighting for the rebound. That'll be another jump ball. We take a look back at Duval with this great bounce pass to Grayson Allen.
Right on the money. I mean, that is a heck of a delivery. And, you know, look, they say that teams run better out of a zone. Who knows? I don't know if it has anything to do with the zone. I think it has to do with the talent level.
13:44 to go. It has been an exhibition in transition basketball. There's another quick hit ahead from Duval. Trent misses the three. Ball is still available. Ogby is first to it. He's fouled from behind by Allen. Third personal foul on Grayson Allen. So we get a look at Kenneth Ogby and then Grayson Allen being substituted for. Grayson 9 points, pair of rebounds, and a couple of assists. 4 of 8 from the field. Ogby is guarded by O'Connell. Toulson in the lane. Quazza leans into one and hits that jump shot. 67-46.
Well, nice job playing inside out there. I mean, that middle is the vulnerability of that 2-3 zone, especially with the big guy right in front of the rim. Good inside out play to get a bucket.
Bagley draws the quick double. Duval, the two-handed slam. Great vision from the freshman, finding his classmate.
Utah Valley doesn't really know, how to double. They're coming over kind of blindly. Not much help on the weak side. Great pass by Bagley.
Manyang down low, runs into Bagley and earns a potential three-point play.
Manyang, all 24 years old of him, playing through contact. You want your big guys to play through that initial thrust of contact, and he does just that.
Very much a man at 24 years old.
He is.
He's been through a lot. He's lost his mother and his brother after coming over from the Sudan. Mentioned he was at Oklahoma, has found a home at Utah Valley. He's a tremendous inspiration to his teammates in the locker room. He's got a double-double here tonight in Cameron Indoor. Duval sets the Blue Devil offense. Duke leading by 20. Steps back into a jump shot. Trayvon Duval, 11 points now to go along with his 9 assists. Ogby fends off a defender. Manyang can't corral the rebound, and Duke is off and running in transition once again. Grayson nearly has that one bounce into the bench. Delorier tracks it down. Helter-skelter for the Blue Devils. Finally, they settle down. And Ogby's going to be called for the block. 11:58 to go. We'll take a break. Blue Devils leading 71-49. Duval continues this time on the dunk. Wednesday on ESPN, LeBron and the Cavs take on Kemba and the Hornets at the Hive at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and the Philadelphia 76ers are at Staples Center to battle Lonzo Ball and the Lakers. Our coverage tips with NBA Countdown, charged by Mountain Dew at 7 o'clock, also streaming live on the ESPN app. Get back to live action at Cameron Indoor. And a turnover for the Blue Devils out of the break.
They're trying to run something out of the timeout for Bolden, get him going, get him a lather a little bit, and just didn't have an angle, and not a great pass.
Ogby, and now Randolph. O'Connell checks him. Randolph into the paint, has that one go off the foot of Marquise Bolden, so it'll stay with the Wolverines with 10 on the shot clock.
Good activity there in the zone, getting a hand on the ball. Not allowing Randolph to get to the basket.
Randolph will take it out of bounds. It was deflected by Delorier and then picked off by O'Connell. Randolph, though, gets it back, blocked by Bolden. Duval jogs it the other way. Grayson spots up for a three.
Well, and now Utah Valley trying to go to a 2-3 zone. And a nice skip across, and that weak side of vulnerability. And Grayson's eyes light up.
A couple of threes now for Grayson Allen. He's got a dozen. Manyang kicks it out to Randolph. Swung across Ogby. Into the paint. Randolph tries a three. That one is good. Back-to-back threes for both teams.
Good penetration there by Toulson. Finds Randolph. Has his feet set. Knocks it down from the perimeter.
10.5 to go. Blue Devils leading by 22 here in game number 2. Duval into the lane. Righty finish is good.
These big guys are so well schooled when they catch it on the block to chin it and survey. And what great vision by Bolden to see the cutting Duval.
Manyang, a nice look inside to Ogby, who finishes it.
There goes that cut again.
And part of it is in the zone when that ball gets to the strong side, Duke is ball watching. Goes to the block, Duke is the guys on the weak side, they're turning and they're ball watching. You got to stay alert. To your point, these guys are doing a nice job from the weak side for Utah Valley, cutting to that basket.
And on defense, especially with the zone, there's 3 sections of the floor here. You call it the thirds. Whenever it gets in the post there, you guys should shift over, taking away the cuts down the middle and making them pass to the other side of the zone.
Under 10 minutes to go. Jordan Goldwire on the floor. Grayson fires quickly on the corner three. And he's got it dialed in at this point. Third three of the evening for the Duke captain.
How quick was that release?
At this point in the game, Grayson Allen knows he may not be playing that much more. Maybe trying to get to 20.
Well, last night it was the first half. Grayson Allen had 19 of his 22 in the first 20 minutes. A little bit of the opposite today. As he's starting to gain momentum here in the second half. Up to 15 now on the evening as Bagley checks back in.
Almost caught it and let it go at the same time. Pure stroke from the corner.
Duke up to 8 threes now in the game. They've made 5 or more threes in 41 straight games now, as Duke. Ogby gets into the paint, dumps it off to Manyang, who's fouled by Delorier. Nice job there by Ogby to create. Manyang will head back to the free throw line. 1 for 2 there this evening.
Nice drive here, draws the help and the rotation late by Delorier. And that's that backside of the zone. Got to be a little bit more active. If one thing, when they're watching tape on this, about this 2-3, and again, you assume Duke is going to employ this throughout the year, that backside's got to be a lot more active, shrink that floor a little bit more, and stay alert.
Manyang hits both free throws. Carter sees that one roll out of bounds. Ninth turnover of the evening for the Blue Devils, 15 for the Wolverines. Utah Valley's only turned those turnovers into 7 points. Blue Devils, by contrast, have scored 24 off turnovers. Manyang with the miss. Grayson Allen heads the other way, finds Carter. Bagley, that big-to-big passing at it again.
Well, it's that cut down the middle. And we have seen that so many times over the last 2 to 3 games where once that ball hits the block, that top big is cutting right to the front of the rim.
Manyang with the finish over Delorier.
Big fella throwing it through. Some enthusiasm there.
It was Nielsen on the floor that created that opportunity, and Manyang took advantage.
Floater.
Every time a guy misses a floater, somewhere Chris Spatola just happens to be in the booth tonight, but somewhere he's smiling.
Gerald Henderson is the biggest fan, and he's going to get an invoice for this. Tried to tear the rim off. These facilities folks at Cameron Indoor, a little bit greedy, man. He may get an invoice for that one. Certainly a much more aggressive play at the basket than the floater.
Yeah, and look, they're down 23. Probably at this point, not going to win the game, but he's still playing with great enthusiasm. Going to finish this one out.
Connor Toulson picked up his 5th foul in that last exchange, so his night is done. 11 points on 3 of 8 from the field, 2 of 6 from the three-point line. So he'll sit the final 8:05. As one of the Utah Valley players, is down on the floor. Looks like he is in need of some medical attention, certainly.
Might have taken a shot to the head there on that Trent drive.
Looks like it's Jake Toulson on the floor. There you see Connor Toulson on the bench after fouling out. Let's get another look at the play.
Oh yeah,
got an elbow.
Yeah, drilled right in the head, and then tried to stand up and got a little bit woozy. Yeah, right there, and it dazed him a little bit because he did try to get up, and then hits the back of his head on his way down.
There you see him try to get up, but needs more assistance from his teammates. We'll take a break and let Jake Toulson gather himself. 81-58 to score here in Cameron. Tuesday on ESPN, we'll have the State Farm Champions Classic from the United Center in Chicago with 4 of the top teams in the nation. Number 1 Duke squares off with number 2 Michigan State in the early game at 7 Eastern. Then it's 5th-ranked Kentucky and 4th-ranked Kansas. It's going to be a fantastic night of hoops. Also available streaming live on the ESPN app. That could easily be a Final Four preview in November.
What a great event that's become for college basketball. You get it this first week of the season, you put those 4 storied programs in the event, and they all, in the history of the event, they've typically been top 5 teams, top 10 teams. So it's Jake Toulson making his way back to the locker room.
Did they have the Champions Classic?
Oh, man, they didn't have anything when you played.
So long ago, man.
They didn't have Countdown to Craziness. They didn't have the Champions Classic.
It's crazy, man.
Good to see Jake Toulson, by the way, walking off on his own power. Tough hit that he took from, I think, a combination of Gary Trent Jr. and then the hardwood floor here in Cameron Indoor Stadium as the Blue Devils will maintain, Utah Valley will maintain possession with 19 seconds to go on the shot clock. Talking about that Champions Classic, what a test for the Blue Devils after what looks like it's going to be a 2-0 start.
Yeah.
Facing Tom Izzo and his...
Well, they're good. I mean, they've got one of the best players in the country in Miles Bridges, and they're big. You know, a lot's been made about Nick Ward and Bridges and that sophomore class, but when you have the opportunity to bring back Gavin Schilling and Ben Carter, both guys hurt last year, they have great depth inside. Going to be one of the best teams on that interior in the country. Of course, Duke will be as well. So to see those 2 front lines go at it, we will learn a lot about both teams on Tuesday night.
We're not learning this for the first time tonight. It's just an affirmation that Grayson Allen is one of the best three-point shooters in America, 4 for 6 from long distance this evening. He's up to 18 points now. And Duke has stretched the lead to 84-58. Randolph trying to answer. It's off the heel. And this is where Duke has been dynamite tonight. Duval the finish in transition.
You know, one of the things why they've been so good at is those guards are rebounding the basketball. They did that last night against Elon, and that's a perfect example. If your guards get in there and they're active on the defensive glass, it starts that break much more efficiently.
Nielsen thought about the jump shot. Instead, Nikwaza takes the 3. Bagley grabs the rebound. Second double-double in as many games to start his career. Bagley 24 and 10 at this point, looking for more. He'll go to the free throw line after being fouled by Manyang.
Also helps when he can just take it off the glass and then dribble it up himself.
There is that.
One of the things we talked about earlier in the game is Duval being that Duke point guard who sets everybody up. But it's helpful to have a whole team, all these guys out here, Duvall, Allen, Bagley, Trent Jr., even the center Carter can handle the basketball.
And they all finish. I mean, that finish there by Duvall, they're just the transition has really stood out tonight, and it's become so important for teams that play them, especially here in Cameron, obviously. You allow them to get out and run. They are high percentage on the break.
It's the first time in program history that a freshman has had a double-double in his first 2 games. There are the numbers on Marvin Bagley III. Duke is one of those programs, anytime it's the first time somebody's done something, it's saying something. And they've had a lot of good freshmen come through this program. None of them have done what Marvin Bagley III has done. After a 25-point, 10-rebound night last night, it's at 24 and 10 tonight. This is on the free throws. Ogby guarded by Bagley on the perimeter. The size Duke has on the floor now. Bolden sees that one go in, though. That back line on the zone, Carter, Bagley, and Bolden, all 3 of those guys approaching 7 feet tall.
Brandon Randolph on that shot. He will be one of the best point guards in the WAC. Transfer from Xavier, had 10 assists, or 10.7 assists last night against Kentucky. A good player.
Off to a slow start scoring tonight, but he's up to a dozen now. That's a turnover for the Blue Devils. 11th of the night for them.
I see that play a lot. Baseline drive, baseline drift. Just nobody there at that time.
Randolph again, the floater. Manyang the rebound, and he'll shoot a couple of free throws. Foul is on Marquise Bolden.
That floater just gets it up on the rim. And when you got a 7-footer under there with arms like that, which I could only dream about, although I don't dream about arms like that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But if
Careful.
I were to.
As Chris Spatola just puts down the shovel and stops digging momentarily. Manyang at the free throw line.
So back to this floater thing.
How about that line for Akolda Manyang real quick, by the way? 15, 12, and 6 assists. On the fringes, at least, of a triple-double, the 7-footer. Now you can proceed with the floater conversation if you'd like, Gerald.
Yeah, so Randolph throws it up there. Spitty thinks that, it's a low percentage shot, but he knows that Manyang is going to get the rebound.
But he missed the shot, right?
Well, it should be an assist.
It's unselfish is what Gerald's getting at.
He's giving himself up.
Bolden the finish inside.
That's good to see.
They're going to need him. That's a great point, Gerald. They're going to need him Tuesday night, and it's good to get him a bucket and at least get him some reps here at this point in the game. Only played 2 minutes in that first half.
We weren't sure if we were going to see him tonight. And I know, but even before the game, Chris, you said, look, if he's got any designs on playing Tuesday night, he's got to get a run in this evening. Speaking of running, the Blue Devils off and running again as O'Connell finishes in transition. Nakwaza misses the 3. Tavanainen is fouled on the attempted putback.
Look at this pass ahead. And how about O'Connell? More minutes tonight because he comes in last night and makes an impact. And he doesn't do it by making a shot. He did it by making some plays, made a steal defensively. And so Coach K looks at him, looks down his bench tonight, puts him in there in the first half. And here he is making an impact in the second half. Good player.
Chris, you mentioned it last night, just his attitude doesn't sulk when he doesn't get the playing time, as often guys do.
So many young players are so caught up in what's going on with them. And when they come in, they're so concerned about making a shot. He's coming in and making an impact. The one thing we do have to work on with O'Connell is the haircut. I'm not sold on the hairdo yet. Yeah, maybe it's got to grow on me a little bit. I don't know, G. Now, you're bald, so
Right.
asking you about hairdos, it's not necessarily.
You know, being bald.
By choice though, right?
Right. You know, I had a little hair. It's just my corners up top weren't filling in so great. But O'Connell, you know, he
He's
didn't
got some
gel
to
it
spare.
tonight.
He's got
Yeah.
some to spare if you need to borrow some for the corners.
You know, when you're bald, you know, you tend to pay attention to hair a lot more, wishing that you had it. So I'm an expert.
At what point did you say, you know what?
Are we going here?
I'm just saying, when did you just say it's time to break out the blade and we're just going to do this?
You know, I probably say like my third year in the NBA. I was growing out this afro that just didn't really.
Wouldn't get the job done?
No, it wasn't. So called it quits.
O'Connell into the lane. Misses on the finger roll, but he's fouled, so he'll shoot a couple of free throws. Didn't shoot one last night in 13 minutes. $90-64 with 4:01 remaining.
Talk about O'Connell. Reminds me of a guy here at the game tonight, Mike Dunleavy a little bit. Can shoot the basketball. It's got some pop to him. Mike's sitting over there next to Shane Battier tonight. Two Duke legends.
Well, Mike grew about 3 inches in his time here at Duke. So, I mean, you know, I don't know if O'Connell's going to have that type of spurt, but I agree with you. There are a lot of similarities.
Yep. And those two, 2001 national champions.
Dunleavy went on to be the number 3 pick in the NBA draft a couple of years later.
Nice drop off.
Nielsen to finish inside. Here goes Duval, constantly pushing the pace. Tiptoes the line. Jack White into the ball game for the Blue Devils. Duval, 12 assists to just a single turnover. Misses on that shot. Delorier down to the ground to grab the rebound.
How many loose balls has he gotten tonight?
Bolden, a nice catch inside. Finishes, or tries to, over the left shoulder. Delorier tries to keep it alive again and draws the foul. That's twice on the same possession for Javin Delorier. 92-66 in Cameron. Plenty more when we come back on ACC Network Extra. Welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium, where the Blue Devils are on their way to a 2-0 start in the 2017-18 season. 3:13 to go. Our player of the game, if you've been watching this evening, pretty much a no-brainer. 24 points, 10 rebounds, and probably done for the night after 32 minutes. Marvin Bagley.
Well, he's fulfilled my key for the game, and that's consistency. 24 points last night. He got it again tonight. 4 more rebounds than last night. And, you know, the true test will be on Tuesday night against Michigan State. Can he give the same effort? That's what this is all about, repeating effort. You know, we know his talent. Can he show us that talent every single night?
It was a nice plug of your own key. I like how you slipped that in.
Well, you mentioned how lucrative it is when a key is
Right.
correct, so he's making sure to cash in.
You mentioned money, and Gerald's all over that.
I know it's important, man, you know.
He's tough. Gerald's taking some heat right now.
It's all right.
A sympathetic figure, Gerald Henderson. Nielsen boxed in on the baseline, kicks it out for a 3, and that one is good from Nakwaza. Ben Nakwaza, the junior out of Texas. 5 points now on the evening. Laurier looking for Bolden down low. It'll stay with Duke. See the Blue Devils making a concerted effort to get the ball down low to Marquise Bolden, get him some touches.
He had good position. He doesn't have quite the poise in there that Carter and Bagley do. Not quite the pair of hands, but certainly the size, and does make a big target.
O'Connell skies for that inbound pass as Goldwire calls out the set. 2.5 to go in the second half. Delorier squares up for a 3, and that one is good. Javin Delorier's added a 3-ball to his game.
Good to see a guy like him get on the board there. Hustles so hard, loose balls.
Bolden the rejection. O'Connell comes away with it. 3-on-2 the other way. Goldwire. That one's off the heel.
Should have thrown the lob.
Less than 2 minutes to go.
And that's precisely why he wants a bucket. Less than 2 minutes in a blowout. There's Delorier, and I agree with Jerry. I mean, they're not guarding him out there. Step into it with confidence.
19th turnover of the night for the Wolverines.
A guy like Delorier, Coach K trying to implement him on the perimeter a bit more to find some minutes for him. It'll be hard to do it, but needs some work on his mechanics for his jump shot. You know, as he approaches his junior year next year, can work on that. It'll be a very, very serviceable perimeter player.
Listed at 6'10", 230 pounds, a great athlete. Plays a couple of different positions for this team. Here he is working down low. Jack White finishes the offensive glass. $1:25 to go. Duke sniffing the century mark. Daniel Nyman is in the game. Corey Calvert tries a three. That one is off the mark. Richard Harward is also in there. There's the lob to Delorier, but even he couldn't get to that one. McKay Johnson seeing some minutes as Coach Mark Pope giving some guys an opportunity to get a run here in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Less than a minute to go. Coach K closing in on win number 1,000 in Durham. 1,073 career wins it'll be in 46 seconds. 73 of those at Army West Point. Chris, your alma mater, and just a fantastic career. By the way, stay with us after the final whistle because we will carry the on-court ceremony that the Blue Devils will do. But it's amazing. You look at the resume of what Coach K has done.
It's incredible.
Second to none.
You know, look, 1,000 wins seemed insurmountable at one point. He's now done it at one school in his second stop. I mean, it's remarkable. 15
seconds to go. A scant difference between shot and play clock. That one rejected by Jack White. Calvert kicks it out. Harward misses on the jump shot, and that's going to do it as the fans raise the letter K to signify win number 1,000 as a Blue Devil. You guys have had a unique experience, two different experiences. Chris, you were on staff with Coach K, won a national championship. Gerald, obviously an All-American career here. Maybe we'll start with you. What was it like being around Coach? It just takes a certain kind of person to stay in the college game and have this much success, even as collegiate men's basketball has really evolved quite a bit over the years.
Well, the one thing you can say about Coach K, and I've been around him a lot, is he wants to be great every single day. You know, whatever it is, whatever team they're playing, whatever practice they got, whatever they're preparing for, he wants to be the best at it. So you see him here getting 1,000 wins at Duke. You know, it's just from his work ethic, day in and day out, and his mindset, and it bleeds to the team. You know, it's so much I've learned from Coach K along the way, and you know, it's a special accomplishment as one of his former players. You know, very proud and to be just a small part of what he's accomplished.
You talked a little bit about preparation, Gerald. We'll get, Chris, to your perspective perhaps in just a moment. We do want to make sure we throw it down to the court. Duke President Vincent Price, I believe, is ready to take the microphone, and we will send it down to him
on with a celebration
in a
tonight,
moment.
Which yet another historic night in Duke basketball history as Coach Krzyzewski earned his 1,000th victory here
For
at Duke.
now, we'll send it down to Trip Durham, the PA announcer here at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Valley. The unparalleled records continue to pile up for Coach K. He has led Duke to 5 NCAA national championships, 12 Final Four appearances, 12 regular season ACC titles, and 14 ACC tournament championships. Duke has spent 583 weeks in the top 25 and 498 weeks in the top 10, and incredibly has been ranked number 1 in 112 weeks, starting 225 games as the top team in the country. Amazingly, he has coached nearly half of Duke's basketball victories in the program's storied history. But more importantly, Coach K has served as a positive role model for his players, for the sport of basketball, for Duke University, and for his family. His ongoing efforts to teach and to serve, both on and off the court, are legendary, as is his passion to do so. We are proud to honor Coach Krzyzewski tonight, following another significant milestone, but more importantly, proud to call him our coach. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please turn your attention to the video board as we honor this incredible accomplishment and relive the journey to 1,000 victories here at Duke.
Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Thanks a lot for all the support. First of all, it's KRZYZEWSKI.
Fans, at this time, we would like to welcome Duke University's 10th president, Dr. Vincent Price, to the court to make a few remarks.
Coach, a little under 3 years ago, you became the winningest coach in men's Division I basketball with your 1,000th victory. And tonight, you are the first coach in history to win 1,000 games for a single university. Where else but Duke, and who else but Coach K? Coach, I know that one of your key words to success is family. And on behalf of the Blue Devil family, here in Cameron and around the world, we congratulate you, we celebrate you, and we thank you for making Duke a part of your family.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we welcome back to Cameron Indoor Stadium a two-time NCAA champion and a two-time NBA champion who currently ranks 12th in scoring in Duke record books and whose jersey is hung among the other Duke greats in the rafters. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back number 31, Shane Battier.
I don't know. You keep this up, maybe. You might make a name for yourself someday. Maybe. On behalf of all the players who played for you, all the coaches who coached with you, and all the fans who cheered with you, congratulations on 1,000 wins at Duke. You continue to set the bar for all of us when it comes to winning with dignity, humility, and class. We are proud to call you our coach. We love you. And here's to the next 1,000 wins at Duke.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Duke University and Duke Athletics, Dr. Vincent Price and Dr. Kevin White would like to present Coach Krzyzewski with the game ball from tonight's victory over Utah Valley, which earned Coach K his 1,000th victory here at Duke. And joining Coach K on the floor are his teammates.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you very much. My first 3 years, I could have never imagined winning 100 games. We were 38-47 my first 3 years here. And I had a president in Terry Sanford, an athletics director, and Tom Butters, who believed in me. And basically, for these now starting 38th year, I love Duke. I love Duke more than any of you. Because I'm older than most of you, all right? And it accumulates. I've been very proud to be the Duke coach. I've represented two of the amazing schools in the universe. The United States Military Academy, where I graduated from. And Duke University, where I wish I would have graduated also from. I want you to know it's been great to be on the ride of how our university has grown into really the best global school in the world. And but the most important thing for me is being in this gym. The moments, it's an amazing thing when you have great moments individually, but when you can share great moments, it's the best. And I've had 1,000 moments to share with all of you. It's been sensational. I would not be here and have this if it wasn't for my family, who's my wife, Mickey, Debbie. And I got a bunch of grandkids here. I don't know how, I got 10, but I don't know if they're all here. But I see the twins and John David and Kenzie. See? When I do this before a game, I'm not giving a finger to the crowd, all right? It's not I'm doing what we call a kiddo finger. So I say, hey kiddos, let's go and let's win. And this whole thing has been very pure. It's really based on every game being your first game. And that's the way I've coached. I think you saw me coach that way tonight. If you're looking at me, and please, you don't have to look at me. I'd rather look at these guys, but actually, during the first 8 minutes of the game, you should have looked at me. Yeah, they're accustomed to my compliments. All right, so. But lastly, thank you. Are you kidding me? I'm the luckiest guy to coach ever. I coached at my alma mater. I coached the U.S. team for 11 years. And I've coached what I think is the greatest basketball program in the country for 38 years. So, thank you. I think there's more to come. I'm just not sure how many. But let's share and enjoy this team. That's... Before the game, I tried to remind them of a word that I think we all need to embrace and immerse ourselves in, and that's the word now. What was is great, and what will might be great, but it won't unless we consider ourselves fully invested to now. And so let's embrace now with this group and see what the hell happens. All right? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a Blue Devil round of applause for Mike Krzyzewski. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your attendance at tonight's game. We encourage a safe trip home. We'll see you next Friday night at 7.
With words, legendary Mike Krzyzewski with words for the Cameron Indoor Stadium crowd. President Price, the Duke president, a couple of words as well. Same with Shane Battier, one of the fixtures of the program. Gerald, we heard from you from the player's perspective, and Chris, you've got a very different perspective as somebody that worked alongside him on the staff, got a national championship ring with your name on it. Tell us what it's like to be working with a guy that's maybe the best that's ever done it.
Well, first of all, I'm mad at my alma mater for letting him get out of there and come to Duke. I wish we could have kept him. Now, look, the thing I always tell people about Coach K is he has evolved with the times. He's been doing this a long time, and obviously kids change, the game has changed, recruiting has changed, and he has changed with them. But one thing that has not changed is his value system. He still has the same value system and the same demands of his players as he did back when he was the head coach at Army. And when you're an assistant coach and a young person, trying to learn the game, that's what resonates the most. He demanded of Gerald Henderson what he demanded of Matt Brown back at Army. But he evolved. He's a smart guy. His tone changed. He evolves with the times. And I think the way in which he has figured all of that out is why he is the all-time winningest coach in the NCAA and won 1,000 games here at Duke.
And likely to set that wins record at a number that, quite frankly, may never be touched. For Chris Spatola and Gerald Henderson, I'm Ryan Craig. Thank you to everybody in our production staff. Another big night for the Blue Devils, another big night for Marvin Bagley III, 24-10. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games in our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Congratulations, Coach K. Win number 1,000 at Duke.